The Beef Today report is brought to you by CattleExchange.com, connecting cattle buyers and sellers nationwide.
After the latest USDA prospective planting and grain stocks report, corn prices have dropped almost $1 in just 1 week. Despite the recent drop, feed prices have been simply too much for many livestock producers to handle. As of the beginning of February, the U.S. Department of Ag said the nation's cattle herd had dwindled to the smallest in 61 years. This has forced some cattle producers to get creative when it comes to alternative feed in order to hold on to the cattle they have. Raising cattle is what Del Fike knows best. For 5 generations, the Fike family has watched the future of the operation be born each spring. And this year, the grass looks a little greener, providing hope for a more profitable year.
So we planted some winter rye, and we've had enough moisture that that's growing well.
But the damages from last summer's drought could be long-term.
We certainly had some spots in the pastures last summer that I don't think that grass is going to come back. It's killed off.
Despite initial greenup, Fike knows he's not in the clear as the drought continues to creep into the picture.
We know our pastures, even if we get some rain. I mean, we're resilient in eastern Nebraska. Our good brome and then our warm season grasses come on strong, but we're down probably about 15%. We'll be down about 25% by the time we go to grass in another month, and then we'll see from there.
That's also why Fike has turned to alternative feeding methods to try and help keep this operation in the green.
With this dry weather, we're grinding corn stover and wheat straw and grass and a little bit alfalfa and mixing it with some liquid feed to get through, balancing it with some mineral packs and things like that. The cows have done well.
He says this is similar to a method they used about 15 years ago, but it wasn't to this extent.
We've been through a lot of feed. We've hauled a lot of feed in.
Fike says last year they were behind 14 inches in rainfall. Since last fall, he admits they've had decent moisture.
We've had some wet snows and had some rains, a ½ inch to an inch at a time.
But as you head farther west into Nebraska, the moisture disappears.
They're liquidating. They've hauled in enough. They've been feeding since last June, and they've either sold part of their herd or didn't keep as many heifers back.
And if moisture doesn't come soon, that situation will only get worse.
The commercial guy, the guys that the bread and butter of the business, the guys that keep us in business, it's going to be a tough deal. If they're not a real profit-driven operation, calving losses, all that, it's really going to factor into it.
And in eastern Nebraska today, despite the slight improvements in area pasture conditions, losses for the Fikes are still steep.
We're about $232 a head more that we're going to have to get out of these calves if we're going to break even, which isn't going to happen.
So continuing to think outside the box until the feed situation improves is what Fike hopes will add new life to an aging operation.